Hello viewers, welcome to a lecture series on marketing management, and in this very series we are going to talk about marketing of services in this very segment of my lectures on marketing management. So you must be thinking that we have been talking about marketing, and while defining marketing we said that if you have to define a product, it can be any offering which can satisfy the need of the customer is called product, and it can be in the form of person, place, activity, organization or idea. So depending on that, what is the need of making a distinction between the product and services, that I will tell you a little later, because service marketing is one of the most significant part of marketing campaign nowadays, and we all understand that most of the developed economies or developing economies, they are having the orientation of services. So they are service led economy, and if you ask if you talk to me about Indian economy, I would say that the same is the story of Indian economy. We started from being an agrarian economy where we were having agriculture as the main stream of our activity, the core segment of our economy, and then came industry, and eventually now it is a service driven economy. So marketing of services, what are services, how do we define services, that is something which I will tell you in this very lecture of mine, and then we will talk about why service marketing, why there is a new term for marketing of services, why there is a new segment, new vertical which is being opened for marketing of services, why we have different set of P's, that is called marketing mix when we talk about marketing of services. For traditional product we had 4 P's, and now we talk about 3 extended P's in the field of services, and we call it to be 7 P's. What are the characteristics of services, and eventually we will talk about service marketing strategies. I can give you number of examples that why do we need service marketing as a different segment of studies, because we all understand that there are certain challenges are different from what we are facing in marketing of tangible products. We all understand that when I say tangible, it means I am talking about intangible nature of services. So what are services? Let me first tell you how do we define services. We all understand that any intangible product, for instance, suppose I am a teacher and I am delivering my lecture here, so it is also a kind of service, but this service you can feel but you can't touch it, you can't find it in tangible format. You must be thinking, sir, your PowerPoint presentations, your lecture, your class notes, they are in the physical format, but whatever I am speaking right now, that is not in the form of tangible product. It is always there in terms of intangible one. For instance, accounting services, banking services, if you ask me about consultancy, cleaning services, education, insurance, medical treatment, or even to some extent transportation services, all of them, they are categorized as services. So if you ask me for a categorization, there is not a single product where service is not involved. It would be very difficult for you to make a segregation between the product and services. So service is omnipresent. This is what I can say. With the help of certain examples, I can justify also. You name any product and just think of it. Can you avail that product? Can you use that product without the component of services attached into it? For instance, suppose if you talk about the LPG cylinder which you are receiving at your home, the same is that it is in the tangible form. You are finding a product, you are finding a cylinder there, but there is a delivery boy who is coming at your doorstep to provide the services. In the pipeline also there is a service component. The person is coming for regular services. So service is something which is omnipresent, and we all should accept that, and given that scenario, it becomes pertinent for us to understand what kind of different marketing strategies do we need for marketing of services. Sometimes services are difficult to identify because they are closely associated with the product, with the tangible product. For instance, there is a combination of diagnosis with the administration of medicine. You go to a doctor, you avail a service, and then after getting that consultation in the form of a prescription, you have to go to a shop for having some medicine. So medicine is coming in the form of a product, but medicine is secondary. The first one is the service which you are availing from a doctor. So no transfer of position or ownership takes place when services are sold. Whenever these services are being provided to us, there is no transfer of ownership, unlike the physical products which we are buying. So we all understand the very nature of service, that it cannot be stored or transported. Suppose I have to deliver a lecture as of now, and I feel like not delivering a lecture. So this 1 hour cannot be stored, that it cannot be inventoried, that no, tomorrow I will use. For tomorrow there is a different time slot which I can use. So the first very nature of the service is that it cannot be stored or it cannot be transported, and they are instantly perishable. Once the service is being offered to you, it is gone. They are instantly perishable, and they come into existence at the time they are bought and consumed. So their existence comes in front of you, or you feel it once you start using that service, once you start availing that service would be a right word for it. It comes into existence at the time when they are actually bought and consumed. And if I have to exemplify the service industries, I would say starting from healthcare, where we include hospitals, medical practitioners, dentistry, eye care, different streams of the medical science where we are availing those services. It can be professional services also, for instance the legal advice, the architectural advice, or the accounting services which we may avail. If you talk to me about financial services, banking, investment advising, insurance, agents who are actually providing us the services of insurance, they are also categorized under the financial services. Then comes hospitality, where you have all these hotels, motels, restaurants, which are there in the name of hospitality. If we talk about the travel services, airline, travel agency, theme park, railways, state road transport services, all of them, they are categorized under the traveling services. And if you ask me about the other services, it can be hair styling, it can be pest control, it can be plumbing, lawn maintenance, and there are series of activities which are series of services which we are availing every now and then. So needless to explain, how do we define and categorize the services? We all witness. You start just assuming from morning till late in the night the number of services you have availed. Now the question comes, why service marketing when the definition of marketing doesn't make any segregation between the product and services? It says that any offering that can satisfy the need of the customer is going to be called as product. When Kotler defines the term product, he is not making a distinction between the product and services. He says that any offering, it can be a person, place, activity, organization, or idea, which means it includes services. Then why service marketing as a different vertical of marketing? Because we all understand that the world economy nowadays is increasingly characterized as a service economy. There is a service orientation. If you talk to me as a citizen of India or Bharat, I would say that we are proud of our service orientation, that Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley because of the service providers from our own country. It has become Silicon Valley because of the people who have migrated from India to that country, and there they are offering those services. So the world economy nowadays, it is characterized as a service economy, and it is primarily due to the increasing importance and share of the services sector in the economies of most developed and developing countries. We all understand that there is an increasing significance and share of service sector in the economies of most of the developing and developed countries. In fact, if you ask me, I would say that the growth of the service sector has long been considered as indicative of a country's economic progress. If your service sector is at boom, it means your country's economic progress is at its pink of health. So it means your company is inching towards the prosperity, your country is inching towards the prosperity, your economy is on the path of progress. That is why your service sector is actually growing. So the growth of service sector is a reflection of our economic progress and prosperity. And if you look at the economic history, you would find that all developing nations at some point of time, if you look at into their history, you would find that all developing nations, they have invariably experienced a shift from initially from agriculture to industry and then to service sector as a main stream of the economy. So if you talk to me about India, I would say yes, same is the case here. Initially we were known as agriculture oriented economy, and now we are talking about the industry orientation and eventually the service sector. Although in our economy the role of every segment is every sector is equally important. So we call agriculture to be a primary sector, industry to be a secondary sector, and services is known as a tertiary sector. So this shift has also brought about change in the definition of goods and services themselves, and you can say that no longer are goods considered separate from services. Then if they are not different, what is there into service marketing? For that there is a very popular and established definition by the American Marketing Association, which defines services as any activities, benefits and satisfactions which are offered for sale or they are provided in connection with the sale of goods, that is called services. So this is a definition given by American Marketing Association, which actually defines the services marketing, that activities, benefits and satisfactions, these are three important components of services. Either it can be an activity or it can be some benefit which we are having, or it is of course it is culminating into the satisfaction, and they are offered for sale. So I wish to have some consultation from an architect, and for that of course whatever satisfaction I am getting, that is being offered by the architect in the form of their own services. So I am getting satisfaction, I'm being benefited in terms of my well being. I'm going to a doctor consulting and I'm being benefited by the medicines which are being prescribed by the doctor. I'm going to going to a particular place where I'm willing to have to avail those services. I'm going to a gym for my own physical activity. I'm going for some exercise, and those activities, they are actually benefiting me. So I'm getting some benefit from those activities. By doing those activities, I'm getting a benefit. So this is what American Marketing Association talks about the services. So why there is a proliferation of technology based services? Technology is actually providing vehicles for delivering existing services in more accessible, convenient and productive ways. It has made our task so easy. You want to avail a service, and for that you need some information, and here ICT is the technology is there to help us. But for some of the services, we are simply willing to have some information. We have become information rich because of proliferation of technology based services, thanks to ICT initiatives, that every information is available on just a click. So technology is actually facilitating basic customer service functions. For instance, I have to make a bill payment, or I have to go for placing an order I am willing to track. So technology is there for our rescue. It is helping us. We can track our order by doing our own job. We can simply keep an eye on the orders which we have placed, and we do have real time information that whether or when my product is the product or services being ordered is going to be delivered. So technology also gives customers access to a wealth of information. They have become information rich because of proliferation of technology and technology based services only. And here again technology is also coming to us as a service. When I am using internet, that is also a service. The forum on which I am delivering a lecture, the CEC, is offering us the service. So this consortium for educational communication is offering us a service. So you are being benefited by the service being offered by CEC. So with the help of self-service technologies, customers can serve themselves more effectively and more efficiently. But there are certain drawbacks also. If you talk to me about the downside of it, I would say customers worry about privacy and their confidentiality of personal information. But that is also nowadays, that is also being taken care by the marketers. They do understand the ethical aspect of it, that yes, we are not going to disclose, we are not going to share your information with anybody, and that privacy is always being intact. So customer technology readiness is also an issue, with some customers who prefer to be laggards. There can be a situation where some customers don't feel like using that technology for availing the services. They still want that traditional way of availing the services. For them, there is a different way of providing services. So what I am willing to say here is, what I am willing to provide you as a background here is, that with the technology infusion, there is a loss of human interaction, which may be seen as a negative by both customers and employees, but the kind of benefits we are having out of this technology based services, and its proliferation, we have to start accepting this, and rather I would say we should enjoy the service which is being offered by the marketers on real time basis. Having said real time, I am willing to indicate towards 24/7 services. You as a customer want to place an order at 2 a.m. in the night, it is there available. You need not to wait for the shop to open. So thanks to the technology which is there for us. For employees, technology can provide tremendous support in making them more efficient and effective in providing their services. If you talk about CRM nowadays, customer relationship management and sales support software, they are actually the broad categories of software that can aid frontline employees in providing better service. So now coming to this characteristics of services compared to goods, after we have understood that there is a proliferation of ICT initiative, and because of that the entire marketing environment has undergone a very surprising change, or I would say a very rapid change. If you look at the space of change, you look at the speed of change, in last 5 to 7 years it has been very high. So the pace at which this ICT proliferation is happening, we are going to witness lot of challenges in the marketing as well. So if you ask me about the characteristics of services compared to goods, I would say that there are four basic differences when we talk about services. The first is, services are intangible. Second is, you can't find the homogeneity into the services, unlike the products, where most of the products or most of the units of the products, they are largely they are similar in nature, they are of similar type. But in case of services, it is not the same. If you ask me about my own lectures today, I am delivering here, and the same topic on it, if I have to speak tomorrow, there can be some difference into the examples which I cite, or the contents which I am using, or in the class when I am going to the class and meeting my students, and with the kind of response I am getting from them, the direction of talk also changes. So there is a heterogeneity, the component of heterogeneity is present into services. If we talk about its storage capacity, I would say it is completely zero. You can't store it, it is highly perishable. Services are perishable. And there is a simultaneous production and consumption. It can't be stored. You can't make an inventory of services, that this is the opening stock of services and now I have added the current purchase, and then there is a closing stock of services. It can't be an inventory. Simultaneous production and consumption, it is being produced and being consumed. So these are the four characteristics of services compared to goods, and now I would elaborate it to you, explain it to you with some examples. If you ask me about intangibility, you should understand how do we define intangibility. Services are intangible and they don't have any physical existence. They cannot be touched, held, tasted or smelled. That is why there is no transfer of possession. Nobody is transferring you the title of that particular service. So it is the most defining feature of a service. If you ask me about the most significant trait of a service, I would say the intangibility is the most significant trait of a service, and it is primarily it is something which primarily differentiates it from a product. And we all understand that it is posing a unique challenge to marketers who are engaged in marketing of services. as they need to attach tangible attributes to an otherwise intangible offering. You have to show some endorsement to the services, and here comes the role of celebrity endorsement, and here comes the role of adding or attaching some tangible attributes to otherwise we all understand the intangible offering. So this is something which is one of the most significant trait of services. Second one is what you call as variability or heterogeneity. So given the very nature of service, we all understand that each service offering is unique and they cannot be exactly repeated even by the same service provider. You go to the same doctor, for every patient their orientation is different, the way they prescribe the medicine may be different, the way they give their advice to them, that is going to differ. While we all understand that the products can be mass produced and it can be homogeneous, but the same cannot be true for services. Services are supposed to be heterogeneous in nature, and it is bound to be. Naturally, it is going to be heterogeneous in nature. Third, example is third nature is perishability. Services cannot be stored, saved, returned or resold once they have been used. So, once rendered to a customer, the service is completely consumed and it cannot be delivered to another customer. You can't deliver it to another customer. Suppose if I have to give a very interesting example to it, I am going to a barber for the haircut. I am getting a service of haircut from a barber. So that is, once the service is rendered to me, I cannot return the same. So suppose if I am not satisfied with the kind of service that particular hairstylist has given to me, so what I can do is I can, at the most I can decide not to visit the place again. But I cannot return the same. I cannot return the service to them. That, see, unlike the product where we can return, there can be a return policy. I cannot return my those services which I have availed, that since I have availed the haircut services, now I am returning it to you and I won't pay for that. No, we can't do that. So at the most I can decide that yes, in future I won't visit because I am not satisfied with the service. The next is inseparability, or you can also call it as simultaneity of production and consumption. So both are taking place simultaneously. So it refers to the very fact that services are generated and consumed within the same time frame, simultaneous. That is why we call it to be simultaneity of production and consumption. It is being produced and consumed at the same point of time. For instance, as I gave you the example of haircut, a haircut is delivered to and consumed by a customer simultaneously. The service provider is providing me the services and I am availing that. Both are taking place at the same point of time. And additionally, it is very difficult to segregate the service from the service provider. So I cannot segregate it from the service provider. It is always there with the service provider. Now the question comes, I would give you implication of some of the key traits of services. The first one is intangibility. What is the implication of it? The first and the foremost practical implication is services cannot be inventoried. You cannot create a stock of it, nor you can go for getting a patent for it, like products. Services cannot be readily displayed or communicated, and because of all this, the pricing of services is very difficult. In most of the cases, you would find the price to be customary in nature. Whatever the general price is going in the market, the same every marketer is going to follow. If you ask me about the implication of heterogeneity, I would say service delivery and customer satisfaction, it depends on employee and customer actions. Service quality depends on many uncontrollable factors. It is beyond your control. There is no sure knowledge that the service which is being delivered is matching with what was planned and promoted. You plan something, you promote something else, and once it comes to delivering, it can be different, because it depends upon the person who is delivering that service, who is actually at the helm of the affair, and the person who is offering the service. So your company is having a vision of providing best of services, but what if the service provider who is providing the service is not in the right frame of his mindset, or is not in the right mood to provide those services? If you if you talk about perishability and its implication, we all understand that demand forecasting and creative planning for capacity utilization, they are very important for important and also challenging decision area for services marketing. So you have to first search, you have to first look at the way customers are evaluating the processes for services, and accordingly you will have to formulate your strategy. So if you talk about consumer evaluation processes for services, they first search qualities. What is quality search? The attributes a consumer can determine prior to purchase of a product, that is called search quality. There is an experience quality. So the attribute which a consumer can determine after purchase or even during consumption of a particular product, so that is called experience quality. And the third one is credence quality. Credence quality is what? It is a characteristic that may be impossible to evaluate even after purchase and consumption. It is something which can't be evaluated. So what are the challenges or certain questions for service marketer? The first one is how to define and improve quality. This is the first and foremost question in front of the service marketer. And then the second comes designing and testing new services. How to design the new services and how to test their effectiveness. The third challenge is communicating and maintaining a consistent image of your services, that whatever we have been offering, that is consistently best service we are offering. And next is accommodating fluctuating demand, and the last challenge is motivating and sustaining employee commitment. So these are some of the important challenges and questions for service marketers. With this, I have given you a brief idea about what exactly we mean by marketing of services. In the next lecture of mine, I will tell you about the additional 3 P's which are being added to traditional marketing mix. With this, I am concluding this very segment of my lecture on marketing of services. Thank you so much.